What's up, people? I've decided to come on here and do a live about a subject that I find it really hard to talk about. So, I've been obsessed lately with deja vu. And what is deja vu? And why does deja vu happen? But more importantly, how does deja vu happen? And can we harness a certain power to create moments of deja vu? So, I've been asking a lot of people about deja vu, and I would love to hear any of your stories about deja vu. Deja vu is a partly assimilated French term that basically means seeing again. And most of the ways that a deja vu is used, it's used in a way like it would be impossible for this experience that I feel like I'm seeing again to really be happening again. That is part of it. So a woman was telling me about experience of deja vu where she traveled to a location that she had never been to and was having a conversation with a person that she had never met, and she had this strong feeling of deja vu, that this moment, this conversation, the topic of conversation, and the location she was at seemed like it was happening again. I had another student of mine tell me that they were doing a concert with one of their school bands, and they had a feeling of deja vu, that they had been in the theater before and played this piece before, but that was impossible because they had never actually learned the piece of music that they were playing with the band and didn't remember ever actually being in the theater that they were in. So, both of these instances, they felt like it was impossible that this moment could be happening again. And so, just to make an example on the other side, a more mundane like memory, say you're at a place that you've been to a lot, talking to people that you've talked to a lot about topics that you discuss a bunch, and you have this feeling like, have we already talked about this? Well, the probability is, yeah, maybe, like maybe or it's been so close, you talk to these people a lot about these topics a lot, and you're in a place that you frequent often. So deja vu has this aspect where it's impossible for this experience to actually be happening again. And so what's interesting is that we don't really know. I've done a lot of studying recently, but seems like people don't really know why deja vu happens. And what I'll get into a little bit is more what I'm interested is how deja vu happens, and are there ways, are there techniques, are there tools available to us to create moments of deja vu. So we'll get into that a little bit later. But one of the things that I feel like, one of the topics that always gets brought up when discussing deja vu and hearing stories about deja vu is the question of memory. What is memory? The question of time travel. And is is there a way to time travel? Because if for instance this woman I was talking to really did experience this again, would that mean that she traveled in time? This was her theory, is that somehow she traveled in time and she went to the place, experienced the event, traveled back, and then lived until it happened again. um, I don't necessarily believe that. My belief is that we are always time space traveling, and that the future and the past exist in a state of every when, and they are always accessible. And this brings up my theory that the future and the past are analogous to the imagination. They're made of the same stuff, if you will. And so, what I feel like is that memory is always an act of imagination. That memory requires imagination, and then when you have a memory, you are having a imaginal event that we label memory. I think if you look into eyewitness testimony and you really get truthful and honest about your relationship with your own memories, you'll realize that it's pretty hazy. You may have family members who remember stories and they're telling their story, and you're like, no freaking way. Like, that is not the way it went down. Well, how do you know? This is one of the magical aspects of documentation. Even if a moment is documented, it's still one vantage point. And so you color any memory with your imagination. And if it's very well documented, this is one of the reasons that we do like to document. Audio and then visual video documentation is truly magical, is that we can get a vantage point and we can hopefully unpack a past event. So if you don't have any documentation, then your memory is really probably more hazy than any of us would like to admit. The other part about memory that I'd like to get into, and I'll probably do a couple more of these lives because these topics are extensive. If you notice, I'm trying to clean my basement, and I took a little pause to make this video because I got a little exhausted with trying to clean up my area. I don't believe that memory is housed in the body. And I believe, to the extent that it seems odd to me when people do believe that memory is housed in the body. And one of the things that I've come to, the ideas that I slush around in my dome here, is that the body is always present, but that physical reality is infinitesimally immediate. And being a drummer, I make the example of playing a single stroke roll or any kind of roll. When you play a roll as a drummer, you're kind of messing around with quantum physics. You're particleizing a wave. So a roll in drum talk, if people don't know, is playing so fast that it ends up sounding like a sustained note. This is why drummers make sustained notes. So right, left, right, left, right, left, that, though each blip is a particle, turns into what sounds like a wave or a sustained note. Well, each one of those is a moment. But the faster you go, you realize there's no way to take account of each of those little moments. They're too fast or too immediate. And so what you realize is that a moment is as infinitesimally immediate as a quantum particle is tiny, right? So you hear a lot about like wave and particle duality, and that particles are these quantum units that are super small, right? And what I think is those moments are very much analogous to that. And what surrounds those moments, these waves of probability are always morphing in and out of particle momentary reality. And that memory is part of wave probability reality, the future past, and that there is absolutely no way that that can actually be housed in the body, because the body is morphing in and out of infinitesimally immediate particle moments. So we have neurons, we have brain matter, but the imagination is a part of the probability waves that surround those particle moments that actually make up neurons and brain matter. And the reason that neurons spread into dendrites and get bigger, and we build on neurons and also prune neurons, is because it is always morphing and it is always moving. So, all that being said, can we create future memory? Can we create moments in our imagination that then collapse as a moment of created deja vu? You choose a result. Okay. I want to I'm a drummer, I want to play a certain venue. So if I can create a virtual rendering of me playing drums at this certain venue, I believe that that makes it more probable that I will see myself on the stage at this venue, probability permitting. And that if I can really create a virtual rendering where I hear myself there, I feel myself there, I smell myself there, and I see myself there, that total virtual reality will then be put out into the probability waves of the future. And probability permitting, it'll coalesce and collapse into a moment where I will be on that stage in collapsible particle reality moments and witness myself playing, and it'll be so close to the virtual rendering that I created that it'll seem like a moment of deja vu. But the magical part is it won't seem like a moment of happenstance deja vu, which is usually what we hear about, like the two stories that I told. It'll seem like deja vu by design. And if this is possible and we can hone this technique, can we do really miraculous things with it? Can we heal? You know, one of the things that I joke about that goes too far is, can I take this painting off the wall and throw it across the room with my mind? Probability permitting, probably not. It's probably a waste of time to even try, right? That I, even if the power of the imagination is what I think it is, that is so improbable because this is such a low entropy event that me wielding this and throwing it across the room just would seem like a waste of time. Okay, now telekinesis is this waste of time that I talk about. But the less immediate and what I say is more indeterminate selves, what would be 5 years in the future and 5 years in the past, are less determined, more malleable. And so can I work with those? And I've done a little bit of this, and I do teach classes on how to do this just because I find it so fascinating. And I've taught people to pretty good effect, and I've done some pretty fun, pseudo amazing things on my own. So if this topic interests you, I would love to hear more about it. Please comment, give me a share. You can look up my work on my website, ZachWestI2C2.com. Find me on Facebook, find me on Instagram and TikTok and Twitter. And yeah, I would love to talk to you all about this. So please give me any stories. I'm collecting. If you have any stories about your theories on memory and experiences of deja vu, I'd love to hear them. Anyway, hope you're having a good one. Bye.